West Virginia basketball is finally back, man, in a pretty big win today. It's nice to see the exhibition. In a sloppy performance, Harlan Obiaha dominated. Let's talk about the entire thing.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia. Thanks for joining in, guys, as we dive into another episode to talk about the basketball squad, and I am happy to do so with you. So thanks for joining in. This episode is going to be brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail. When you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward today with Mazda, where you can move and be moved. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. West Virginia pulls off a win against Wheeling University, Division II school today, 80-54. In a game where they were pretty sloppy at times. I think you take it with a grain of salt. I don't think it means this team is bad. It doesn't mean this team is good. It doesn't really mean a whole lot of anything. It was a lot of these guys' first time playing together in a game that was semi-meaningful. And they just didn't shoot the ball well for the most part. Also really vanilla if you pay attention to the kind of – they didn't run any sets. They didn't run hardly any actions. It was really just – pretty simple stuff, right? So I'm not trying to overblow this but it was a sloppy performance. This is a team that 10 games into the year, you should beat by 60 points, right? But at the end of the day, you still won pretty handily, although they kept it within sometimes close to 10 points. So, for a Division II school, that ain't good enough, right? So obviously they got to get a little better. I think our guys probably came in thinking they were going to mop the floor with these cats probably as well, especially after the way they performed at Maryland. Kind of they even said this on the broadcast. So, yeah, there's maybe a little concern, because you just want to see them do it. The fact that, I was expecting us to make more threes in this game. I think that's probably one of the – maybe disappointed is a little bit more of a better term because – I'm not really concerned for the team yet. I have to see more for that to be a thing. But, yeah, I felt like at times this team it wasn't very inspiring either. And it's an exhibition game. I get it. Like, I just, the Coliseum wasn't jumping like I was hoping it would be. And there's a lot. But the final is 80-54. Halftime score, you were up by 20. A really bad field goal percentage in this game. You shot in the 40s for the most part. For the entirety of the game, you get to 50% towards the end of the game. There were times where Wheeling had some pretty big runs. They had a couple 7-2 runs. That's kind of embarrassing against a Division II team, but it's going to happen, Obviously, the largest lead for West Virginia was 75-45. So it's not like they almost lost the game or anything. But Wheeling did get closer than you would like to see a couple different times. In the first half, West Virginia jumped out to a 9-0 lead. Harlan Obiaha obviously dominated this game as he should have, right? I think we came out of here and the one player that didn't play well was Obiaha. That would be more concerning because we know we're going to need him throughout the rest of the year. Now, all these things can be true at once. It's actually the inverse is probably going to be more the true is our guards are probably going to shoot a lot better. And I don't think Obiaha is going to score 19 every night either. I think he's a guy that's going to playing double figures for the most of the year. He is so improved, guys. He's so improved. I'm just all I mean is I don't think he's going to score 20 a game. Maybe he will. If he does, that would be just amazing, right? But I was looking for a picture to thumbnail him with. And I came across a couple that I just got to show you guys. It's obvious, by the way, I'm going to have him on the show, just working out the details. But, yeah, so let's pull up a couple old pictures of him. I wanted to show you guys this. This one here. This one here is the one. I'll just save it and then put it up on the screen for y'all. But he is obviously in such better shape. I mean, it's just so great to see. It really is. He deserves it too. I mean, you just don't. I wish I could lose as much as he did. I really do. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but let's see. We'll try it like this. There we go. I think it's going to do it now. But yeah, no, I mean, this is one of those games where West Virginia, they played well in spurts. Obviously, I wanted to see a little more out of Hupp and Eagle staff. I think that Hodge probably, here's the picture a little bit bigger. So just based off this picture, I mean, he looks so much better, guys. His arms are skinnier, his midsection skinnier. He's lost quite a bit of weight. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing for him. I'm so happy for him. It showed up today, right, for West Virginia. You're glad to see that. Great job by Harlan Obioha, and can't wait to talk with him about it. Hopefully we get to. I mean, have a couple steps to go before that happens. But yeah, so let me go down the list here. Brennan Lorient was obviously really impressive. I think he had 14 points from what I see here. The box score is a little tough to find, guys, because it's not a real game. That's what took me so long to get on here. I was trying to find a box score that had everything. I just can't find it. I'm sure it's out there. Maybe it'll be on WVSports.com here. Let me look now. Because, it just wasn't available on any of the normal places like usual. Let's see. Sports, basketball. But yeah, this team, let's see. Final. Yeah, here's the final. Let's see if we can get some box score up out of here now. All right. So we got pictures. No, it's not looking like it. Nope. No box score yet here. We got pictures and things, but nothing yet. Obviously Honor Huff, I wanted to see play a bit better. He just had a kind of an off day. He also had gotten some odd situations where they were trying to post him up. And I felt like a couple of those were a little much. I mean, he's not a big guy. We all know that. And the shoulders they were throwing into him were legit. I don't know. Like I felt like at least one of those was a charge, but I mean, who knows? Maybe he's not going to get that call. And the Big 12, probably not, right? Also, I have to say, Jaden Forsyth came in and made some big shots. I was excited to see that. I thought he absolutely played well in a game where he didn't even get to come into the last 10 minutes. Trey Eaglestaff, obviously, they just weren't doing a lot, guys, as far as it's the equivalent of like the Robert Morris game where we just didn't run any plays. We ran the same 3 or 4 plays in that game or whatever it was. I don't know how many plays, but for example, let's say you ran the same 3 or 4. This team ran almost no actions, nothing this whole game. So they're, because I think it looks like, well, why aren't they getting open? They're just not going to put it on tape yet. They're not going to do it for St. Mary's either. So, we'll just have to continue to see. There's a reason they made. You think there's honestly, think of it like this. If Maryland and Wheeling played, who would win the game? Who would win the game? Maryland would win the game, obviously. Well, we dominated Maryland, right? In a secret scrimmage, and it was their first performance. I mean, it's all grain of salt stuff. But you have to think that they ran a lot of great action in that game. They got Huff open. He was probably running off a ton of screens, Eaglestaff as well. And they got up for the game because you're playing against another Power 4 opponent. I think the combination of they probably overlooked Wheeling a little bit, just guessing here. I don't know this for sure. Maybe they took them really seriously, just played, I don't want to say poorly, but sloppy, right? They had a bunch of turnovers. I don't think that's I don't think I'm down. I don't think I'm talking crap about them, right? Like I feel like this is honesty that some people maybe don't want to hear, but I mean it's the truth. Like I guarantee you, which is why they said at the end of the broadcast, they're going to have a lot to talk about. They're going to have a lot to clean up because they are. It was not a great performance overall. There were some great individual things that they did, and there were just an overall more physically talented team than this. But this team has to improve from here, and I think they will. But overall, I still think we have grateful we have some depth. I think we at least go 8 or 9 deep. I'm thankful for Amir Jenkins and company. I think they're going to be good throughout the year. And this team is going to play well this year. Going to still think this team's going to win 19 to 20 games. I think they're still going to sneak into the tournament, and it's going to be a great first year for Coach Hodge and company, and they'll build from there. Now, one thing I was thinking about today was that Coliseum. It wasn't at its best today, and I just hope that it impressed Sadler and the 2 4-stars that were there. Because man, they really need those guys to commit. Obviously, those are program changing guys, and we would love to see them commit to West Virginia. All right, guys. Let's see what we got here. Anything else? Chance Moore. I thought Chance Moore looked like a dude, by the way. He didn't play a ton. He was just a dude at times today. I got to be honest. So I'm a big fan of his, and so is Troy. So I think he's going to be a guy West Virginia can absolutely count on. They didn't use him a whole lot today either. So yeah, they definitely were playing some games with like what they were showing TV, which makes total sense. You don't want everybody to know what you're going to do before you do it in first game. So let's go to break, though. We got some more football to talk about. Obviously, I did PFF grades earlier, but I didn't have time to really dig into it because it was right before the game started. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, I set the thing up. I thought the game was at 6:30, but that's the women's, which comes on in a few. I'm going to catch most of that game as well, and maybe even do a video on it because I'm going to cover the women this year. I'm going to cover them every week, a couple of days a week, probably at least a segment here or there. I think they're going to be really good this year, guys, and we're going to be talking about them possibly deep in the tournament. We go to break. On the other side, we'll talk about Pro Football Focus grades from yesterday's TCU game and give some final thoughts about both of these things. What are we thinking? Where do we think it's going from here? Because obviously both of these teams, football and basketball, need to improve, and I'd like to see them do it sooner rather than later. That's next. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Mazda. When Mazda came around, guys, I just had to know, are you moving the game forward? Because this episode is brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward. And for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than keep the game forward. They put points on the board, they move crowds, and they move culture. This week's moment that moved the game forward is, how about that, guys? The West Virginia basketball team played its first exhibition game today and a pretty spectacular win overall, even though it was a bit sloppy. You got to say, man, they moved the game forward today with a big first exhibition win. You find out a lot about your team, a lot to fix. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. And our friends at DoorDash say hello with a message to you, and it's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP. Who delivered? Powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, you save every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For West Virginia, obviously, we have to go with Harlan Obioha, delivered in a big way. Obviously, he dominated today's game in a breakout performance with 19 points all over the boards and just was too big, too strong today for Wheeling. When the pressure was on, Harlan Obioha came through, no hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this performance was not a fluke. I think Harlan Obioha could go on a streak. And just like Harlan Obioha delivered for West Virginia, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250 in cash, including 100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, and fuel your game day only with DoorDash where the terms apply. That promo code is good through 11/18. Segment 2, crack a Gator Dew. Let's get a Gatorade Dew here. Almost drank yesterday's Gatorade Dew. Yes, I'm a bachelor. I have a couple bottles on the table. What about it? All right. I seen somebody talking about Miles Sadler earlier. I saw some of the pictures of his family and or some of the people talking about it, about them being in WVU gear and how this is pretty serious with him. Obviously, it's a big deal. We'll just keep track of it. We hope he commits. And here's the thing: we still have a long way to go to keep him committed, even if he does. So, let's just hope we can pull it off and then keep it pulled off, right? So it'll be fun to see. I definitely think he would be right there with Oscar Sheboy, Devin Ebanks, some of the biggest Truck Bryant. I think Truck Bryant was highly rated recruits in our history. So, because we've had a few guys in the past that are on close to his level, not quite. I don't think Sheboy was top 23, but yeah. All right. So Pro Football Focus performances for football happened. If you didn't know, and there were some performances that definitely jump out, I think. And obviously the biggest one of the day was by far Gerard Bowie, 82.8 Pro Football Focus grade. He plays well when he gets the chance, right? He had the big end around earlier this year that went for like 80 yards. And he's somebody that I would really love to see us get the ball to more, but I understand it's a situation where we're just struggling to stay above water, much less scheme a guy open. So, I know that they're doing their best. It's just wish we could do more with our receivers. And Bowie's a guy I probably should bring up more when I talk about the receiving room being pretty good and just not knowing it. Like I said yesterday, our receiving room is actually pretty good in my opinion. It's just that, the unfortunate thing is we just can't get the ball out, right? It's just what it is. I mean, I wish it wasn't that way. I really do, but our receivers could be wide open and we'd never know it up until yesterday. All right. Other grades that you'll want to know about. Actually, I'll just share the screen with you. I've got them all listed here. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So Scotty Fox, Dior Hubbard, Clay Ash, all these guys, 67, 62, 59. Sincere Bowers, 38.6. Draw Bowie, 82.8. Obviously, Cam Vaughn, 69.4. On 70 snaps, I believe. Justin Smith-Brown, 62.4 on 20 snaps. Jeff Weimer, 62.2 on 54 snaps. Preston Fox, 60 on 1 snap. I don't know if that's right or not. Rodney Gallagher, 51.5 on 60 snaps. That sucks, man. He had been playing so much better. Ryan Ward, 72.1. Grayson Barnes, not great. None of these guys are great. Then you get to the defense. Nate Gabriel was really good, 75.3. Corey McIntyre was really good, 74.4. Devin Grant was pretty good, 66.7, although he was impactful in the plays that he made. Eddie V was average, 60.5. Eddie Kelly had a bad day compared to last week when he was in the 80s, 58.2. That's not good. Sonny Redwood, 55.9. Braden Sider, 68.1. That's above average for sure. Curtis Jones had a bad day, 57.9. Ben Cutter was at a 70.1 on 20 snaps. So that's good. Bogle was at 64.5 on 27 snaps. That's good. Chase Wilson, 57.5, not good. Reed Carrico, 54.2, not good. But way more snaps, right? So obviously that's going to happen. Fred Perry, 79.3. Chambers was at a 72. Darren Lewis was at an 84. Then we had the rest of these guys were in the 70s. Derek Carter Jr., Israel Boyce, Jordan Walker, Nick Taylor, all pretty good. Well, Nick Taylor was a 39. Good Lord. What a horrible score that is. So, mixed bag, obviously, with this. And, once again, we look at the offensive line grades, and they were just so bad again, especially Agbo. He was in the 40s. He continues to play pretty rough ball for us. So I wish that we could get the right side of the offensive line fixed. Yesterday, I can't tell you how many plays. The quarterback draw that we got stopped on, Scotty would have scored if we could have just blocked one person. It was just one person broke down and let the defensive end come in and make the tackle. Other than that, he had a seal straight. All he had to do was make one guy miss, and he would have had a 5-yard run at him. So frustrating, man. It's just so frustrating to see it. We're literally, if we just had an offensive line, we would have won at least 2 other games this year, and I think possibly 3. I was going to say 2, though. I think we would probably be, probably 4-4. But we're not. It is what it is, right? I mean, is 4-4 any better than 2-6 in the grand scheme of things? I have no idea, honestly. I mean, neither one of them are bowl eligible, and you have to win 6 to get there. Obviously, with 4, you got a better shot, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let's go to one more break here. We'll come right back, and we'll talk about Scotty Fox a little bit, talk a little bit more about the basketball team, and we'll get out of here. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by FanDuel. When it comes to FanDuel, the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next fourth quarter comebacks or who will have more points. Plus, you can even combine your live bets in the same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when you have your team making a late push. Absolutely. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets. Win your first $5 bet wins. That's a pretty good deal there. So head to FanDuel.com today to join up and you play with your game at FanDuel, the official betting partner of the NBA. All right, guys. Let me get that off there. Got a banner hanging on here. It won't go away. Well, there it is. It's gone now. All right. Couple of thoughts about some things, then we'll bounce out. I got to do another video here in a bit, so I just got to reserve some of my voice. Scotty Fox obviously played well. We know that. We talked about that. I think he is growing before our very eyes, and I just need to see a little more next week. And if he continues to get better, then yes, I can buy him for next year. But even if he plays like he did today, next week, I still need to see more. Just personal opinion. Um, I don't know that a better running quarterback. I mean, can you go in the portal and find a better? Here's the question I need to ask, I guess. Scotty Fox looks pretty good. He does. Next year, he could be even better. There's no doubt about it. But is he better than what you can go buy if you pay? You can go get, in some cases, a transcendent quarterback that will absolutely change your fortunes if you can afford to do so. And that's what I don't know the answer. I have no clue if we can or not. But I mean, you need to scout for the right part, the right guy. There are plenty of guys that just nobody knows about that if you find him could be the next, you can name a bunch of guys, right? So, the next Cam Ward is out there, for instance. Before Washington State brought him in, nobody really knew who he was. He was an incarnate word. So there are Bailey Zappi is another one, right? So, you never know. Or you can go the other route and you can spend $2 million and you can just bring in a bona fide guy. Hopefully that's enough. I mean, for what Rich Rod wants to do, I feel like you can get a really mobile quarterback that can throw it around for that. And I'm talking about, we need a guy that's like, oh my God, I'm scared to let him run the ball at all. Like, I think here's if I could put a poll question out, this is what I want you guys to let me know. What's more important? A guy like Scotty who's mobile but can really throw it a little bit, or just a flat out, just devastating runner that can throw it, a little bit, let's say, or is an average thrower, maybe like Devin Dampier kind of guy, right? Where he can obviously throw it, like he can make the throws you need. It's not like Garrett Green or somebody, like kind of like him. Like that's exactly the kind of player that I could look to and say, if he just had one more year, I believe we'd be 4-4 right now if we had Garrett Green as our quarterback, potentially even better. Can you go out and get a Garrett Green type player for $2 million? I think you can. I think you can for less. And the question is, do you think Scotty is the guy that you want to build your program around under this Rich Rodriguez tenure? Is he the guy you had in mind before this ever started? Is he the guy you thought, yep, that's going to be the kid, that's going to be the player I thought would be leading Rich Rod's offense back to where we want to go? I fight with this because I really want him to be it so we don't have to spend the money. And he's so likable. Scotty's so likable. And he played so well yesterday. You saw some things here and there. He also missed quite a few big throws, but that could be freshman mistakes. We get that. So what's more important? He's not a dynamic. He's what I would consider, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say Scotty's like a 6 as a runner, right? He's pretty good, especially if you let him go. Like if he can really tuck it and go and takes a few steps, he can outrun a couple guys. But is he even like Khalil, where behind the line of scrimmage, he can make a guy miss and turn nothing into something? No, he isn't. He also looks like the punishment was getting to him a little bit yesterday, and he doesn't have the same kind of fortitude Khalil does as far as that goes yet. Or at least, well, let me retract that. I don't want to say he doesn't have it, but he definitely looked like he got dinged up easier is what I'm saying. That's what I mean. I struggle with this question a lot. I've thought about it a lot since yesterday because I think Scotty being good is what we need, obviously. But it could also put us in another Nico situation where we don't get a quarterback and we don't go out and get anybody. And here we are, we're kind of stuck, or you go out and get a guy that you think maybe will work. I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel. I would really love to know. I think it's an interesting conversation. I think personally, I would just like to see us go and get a truly dynamic, like Lamar Jackson-esque type. I mean, obviously not. There's nobody out there that good, but you get what I'm saying. A guy like Pat White or Denard or Colin Kaepernick or somebody like that. But Scotty's got a few games to show more as well. Maybe he is the guy. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying he's not the runner that I thought we would have in this offense. But it ain't on me to decide. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys. I'm going to jump out of here, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your evening, and don't forget to cue those country roads. Good night.